Alrighty, so the overall imbalance strategy is going to be executed on the 5 minute and the 15 minute. Now, you're going to be taking in consideration one thing, which is going to be very crucial: the time that you trade. You want to trade at a specific time, which is either going to be in London session or in New York session. These are going to be the times that you're more likely going to see a lot of volume, and you want to know when there's a lot of volume because this is what's going to get your trade to those positive numbers. So as we can see, I have a division right here that allows me to know when is a new day, meaning that there's going to be a day for potential start of London. And then right here we have the New York session that I like to trade, which is why I have it all the way from certain time to certain time, because at that time I give myself the time to go ahead and look for potential trades. Now, when it comes to the imbalance trading system, okay, I want to show you guys this following. You will be seeing that the market is already having a overall direction that had happened during the London session. During the London session, we went ahead and identified that market was moving to the downside. So one thing that I like to take in consideration is whenever market is moving to the downside, comes back, creates a potential distribution. As we can see, there is a nice distribution in this section. There's always going to be a re-entry, and that re-entry is going to be that imbalance zone. I don't want to say always, but 80 to 70% of the time you will be seeing that re-entry. And that re-entry is more likely going to happen at the start of New York session or towards the mid of New York session. And it's going to be based itself by imbalance zones. We can see a nice zone of imbalance right in here. And things that I like to take in consideration for my profit levels, first of all, is you want to go ahead and look at the low of that section. That's going to be that's going to be an area in which you are going to go ahead and move your stop loss to break even, or either take partials and continue on riding out, or you can give it as a day and say, you know what, this is done, I'm good with the trade. I had a nice 15-20 pip move, and I'm going to go ahead and close my trade. In this case scenario, we can see how market had a nice about 12 pip move, but overall scenario, we saw a 25 pip move to the downside. This was a great move that happened, I believe it was on last week's Tuesday, about a time ago. This was January 11th. Okay, so now let's go over to the next day. Now, on the next day, we can see the following. We do have an area of imbalance right here in this section that market had created. Unfortunately, market never came back and fulfill that area of imbalance. Typically, we want to see market to fulfill those areas for us to take in consideration those potential moves. And if it doesn't fulfill, then you want to go ahead and look at any other closer imbalance zones, such as this. Didn't fulfill again, continue moving on. As I said, it's not going to happen all the time, but 70 to 80% of the time, it will happen. Going on to this following day, this was a nice day. We can see how market had created overall distribution right in this section. We can see how market went ahead and manipulated above the highs. Market went ahead and manipulated underneath the lows. Now this one happened during the end of the day. We have two entries. We have one at the beginning of the New York session, and we have one towards the end of the New York session. Now, what is the one at the beginning of the New York session? Well, the one at the beginning of the New York session, we can see how market had created a nice accumulation right here. Okay, this right here, overall distribution, but we do see that nice accumulation that happened in that section. Now, what do we see right down here? We see a nice zone of imbalance in which market came back down into, so that way it could potentially fulfill that section. So therefore, that would have been a nice potential entry to the upside. The levels that you can take in consideration, either closing the imbalance or half point of imbalance. Half point of imbalance is the area that I like to take in consideration because it's the equilibrium of the overall move. So in this section, we can see how market moved for 11 pips, 12 pips, and overall move of about 20-25 pips. Like I said, 15 pips, 20 pips is great for this move, for this strategy. Just get in and get out and have your overall profits already secured. Now, over towards the end of the day, we can see the following. Market went ahead and created another area of imbalance right over here, in which what we can see is that market came and fulfilled that area, which is the half point of imbalance, before it continued on moving down. And once again, what are we looking at? 15 to potentially 20 pip moves. Those are the section that we really want to be paying attention to. After that, market continued going to the upside. It's very important to understand that this is going to be like an intraday scalp. So you don't want to go ahead and just maintain this throughout all day without managing your trade accordingly. Make sure that you are taking the proper risk that you have to do. Don't go ahead and rush into trade. Make sure that you are seeing the clear imbalance zones, but understand that you have to take in consideration that it is either in an accumulation schematic or a distribution schematic within the New York session for you to take in consideration that imbalance zone. So let's go ahead and just continue over here real quick into the next day. Now the next day we can see the following, that there is not much of a accumulation or distribution. However, what there is order flow. Now we can see how order flow was right in that section, order flow in this section, and order flow in this section. Now this was our last order flow section right here. Before that, after that, we had a nice area imbalance in which market came back, fulfilled that zone of imbalance, and then started dropping down. We can see how it wanted to go ahead and scale above these highs. However, it didn't scale above those highs, so you were able to go ahead and have a nice trade to the downside. Always looking for about 15-20 pips to go ahead and secure, or to go ahead and properly manage your trade. And then from that, you can go ahead and move on to see how far you can take it down. This is not going to happen every single time, but like I said, 70 to 80% of the time you will be seeing this. So I hope you guys take this in consideration. I hope you guys like this quick video when it comes to the overall imbalance strategy. Make sure you are looking at this during the New York session or the London session. That way it can better work for you. Why? Because those are the sessions that you will be seeing a lot of movement within the market, more volatility, more rapid moves, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want to get in and get out as soon as possible. So as always, guys, if you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up down, and also down below, let me know what you'd like to see next. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Hope you guys enjoy this one. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.